Hello, this is a general strategy for how to factor polynomials. We have thus far in Chapter 6 covered several different methods as to how to solve polynomials, or how to factor them, I should say. Now this is a decision tree. So you start at the very top, and notice you just come down following the arrows as to which path to take. So the first thing notice is to factor out the greatest common factor. Anytime you're faced with a polynomial, you should try to find the greatest common factor. This can make any polynomial have much smaller numbers, smaller variables, and therefore much easier to deal with. Next, after you factor out the greatest common factor, you should come down here and ask, how many terms does it have? Notice this relates directly to what we've already talked about in a previous chapter, chapter 5. So if it has 2 terms, there's 3 possible options. Other, which really means that it's a sum of squares or it's a difference of squares. We're not going to deal with anything in this class that you have to factor anymore in the other category. So don't worry about, there's other rules that we could potentially talk about. We're not going to get into that. But if it's a sum of squares, then notice it is prime. However, if it's a difference of squares, we can factor it. Specifically, that's the a plus b times a minus b. So that's going back to there. If it has 3 terms, we talked about how to break it apart and use the AC method. Now, hypothetically, yes, you could use guess and check. Remember again to show your check if you're using guess and check. And then if it has 4 or more terms, there's only one option, and that is to factor by grouping. So factoring by grouping is, again, we're doing pairs or threes, even numbers of groups, and then going from there. Now, after you've done all of those and you factored, the last one is very important. That is to factor the factors. So after you've factored something, it is quite possible that your factors can then be factored. So reassess, go back up to the top, and ask the same process. After you've gone through one round of factoring, if you can factor those factors any further. I hope this helps. This is just a general strategy you can practice on multiple things. You'll have examples in your homework where you have to factor out a greatest common factor first and then use a different strategy. It's just kind of employing this idea in general so you can use this more so. Good luck, and let me know what questions you have.